So, I mean, how has gravel racing not changed? The minute you think you know what's happening in gravel, you don't. That's something I've learned year after year.
You know, there's a true race culture now. We look at the Lifetime Grand Prix, we look at the UCI races in Europe, and yeah, gravel racing is the thing right now. So for us, it was a huge priority, especially to make that shift from just having what we had with Crux 4 being kind of that all-around gravel bike to having a true dedicated race platform for our gravel athletes and also riders that are going to those events.
Teams are starting to come on board. The racing is faster than ever. Women have their own starts, men have their own starts. There's breakaways, there's team tactics, like it's all happening all at once. This bike couldn't have come at a better time, especially as we have come together with a team.
I think it depends a lot how the gravel racing developed over the years. If you are riding always in a bunch, then aerodynamic is not a major aspect. But if you see more breakaways, if you see in general much faster racing, then automatically is the importance of aerodynamics much higher. Like if you ride in a bunch, you would never ever think about a deep rim. But if you are in a breakaway, maybe also with some side wind, it is crucial to have a low aerodynamics as well. That's why we again use our equation of speed, consider all the, let's say, conditions a rider is typically facing in a race, which changed over the years, which drives directly the ideal design of a bike.
One of the key pieces that we really needed to focus on was just the aerodynamic aspect. If we're looking at that equation of speed, obviously we had the weight from Crux 4, but we pretty much had zero benefit from an aero perspective. So aero was pretty much the singular priority for this bike. I mean, you can see with the wheel set that we've developed around that chassis, but we also wanted to retain that compliance and ride quality that we had from Crux 4. Even though we did bring in so much aerodynamics within the frame, we still have a really light frame overall. I think the chassis is coming in at 785 grams in a size 56, so the team is super proud of what we've been able to accomplish there when we look at the aerodynamic benefit of the bike. So we still feel like we have one of the lightest frames and lightest complete packages within the gravel racing, but we also, in our minds, have one of the fastest bikes there as well, if not the fastest, especially over the courses that we see within Lifetime Grand Prix.
In road racing, you are fully supported. You have team cars, you have neutral support cars, you have fans on the side of the road, right? There is every opportunity to grab a fresh bottle. So anytime that aero matters, you only have one bottle in your bike. No one is sprinting with two bottles. With gravel, that's not true. You are 100% on your own outside of the feed zones, right? They're racing with two bottles and two large bottles the vast majority of the time. So talking with us racing, talking with their athletes, we know they want this to be the fastest bike with two bottles because that's how they race it. So every decision made in the development of this bike, almost all the testing done in the development of this bike is with two large bottles, while with the road bikes, we do it with one small bottle. Another key difference is, of course, the variety of tire sizes that we developed this chassis for. Rolling resistance is huge in gravel racing. If your frame cannot fit the right size tires for a course, the race is over before you even started, right? So if it's a fast course, we still need to be super aero with small tires. We also need to maintain our aero performance and have the ability to run bigger tires if the course demands it.
When the team sees the product win at the highest level, I don't think that feeling ever really changes. It's pretty fun, and I think you pretty much share the same feeling that the athlete has as well. I mean, we spend so much time working on that product when we see the success it has under athletes. It's a pretty exciting moment that doesn't go away. You know, we've had a team that has worked on these products for many years. Everyone on our team has seen products they've worked on win world championships or Tour de France stages and plenty of other exciting races. And it's always exciting to see the product out there performing under the top level athletes.
So we've had the team actually for quite a few years, but as gravel has also evolved, so has the team. So the team started with just a couple of riders, and that's all we really needed. And now as the sport has grown, we've also adapted our team really cautiously and calculated to see where we should take it. And so we, this year, have 6 riders, and they're each gonna work together to get to the finish line first.
Because if you want to finish first, you need to be fast. And it is not enough to optimize the system only for aerodynamics. If you want to be the first on the finish line, the clock does not know anything about aerodynamics. The clock does not know anything about rolling resistance. The clock only knows who arrives first. Equation of speed means to consider all the terms from a physical standpoint that drives the speed of a bike rider system.
It is all the forces the rider has to overcome to reach an equilibrium speed. That is your coefficient of rolling resistance times your system mass. That is your chain efficiency. That is your aerodynamic drag. That's, of course, the biggest that our pro riders deal with. That is your vibrational losses as you go over harsh terrain. Every single thing that is working together to slow you down, those make up all the different components of the equation of speed.
Well, every project is a great opportunity to build on the knowledge from the bike before it. So every bike is kind of a small evolution, both of its own previous generation, but also taking the learnings from all the other products that have come before it. So for example, since the last generation Crux came out, we have also had the Athos 2 come out, which gave us a lot of insights in layup development and tube shaping. And so it's kind of an evolution of both we learned on the last generation of this project, but also every step of learnings and development from the previous bikes that have also come out in the recent years.
Yeah, Doug and the team do some really fun, fast-moving, quick prototyping that is just fun to be a part of, and also it's just inspiring to see how quickly and efficiently Doug and the team can work. We've done some really fun kind of mashup bikes where we've just been able to take, let's say, an SL8 seat tube and put that into a Crux 4 and really see what the performance gains are from an aero perspective there, and just do kind of rapid prototyping that allows us to make quick decisions, especially with the development of Crux 5. Obviously, you know, we've done plenty of those experiments, whether it's with a Tarmac SL8 fork or matching the front end of a Tarmac SL8 to the rear end of a Crux 4, and just kind of, yeah, getting some quick data, especially when we can just put that in the wind tunnel really quickly, walk across the street, and actually start putting that into development.
It is very important to work very close to the teams, because one thing to make a bike numerically fast, and unfortunately for an engineer, it's sometimes a different thing to have a bike winning. And the reason is there are aspects that we struggle to put into numbers. For example, the confidence in corners. It is absolutely crucial to listen riders to understand what are the needs to, for example, brake as late as possible into corners, to have the maximum confidence to go around a gravel corner as fast as possible. So without a very precise feedback from our athletes, we would not be able to develop a bike on that level. We as a company want to rise the bar. It is not that we are not aiming to do state-of-the-art engineering. We are actually like to define what state-of-the-art means. And this is only possible if you have the infrastructure to look into each individual detail. That means the working in specialized is so particular because we have resources, we have tools that allows us to quantify each single term of the equation of speed in a detail that is probably unique.
When we talk about optimizing for the equation of speed, what we're really doing is we're taking that power balance and applying it to different courses with real rider profiles. We can get extremely accurate outcomes as to how long it takes a racer to complete a specific course. And then all we're doing is taking those simulations and we're applying changes to the baseline bike. So let's say Sophia races unbound on a Crux 4. If we have Crux 5 prototypes 1 through 5, put each of those into the equation of speed, what is the difference in time to finish for Sophia based on those changes in whatever factors we're looking at? Maybe one bike has the same tire clearance, but it's lighter and more aero. Maybe one is the same weight, but more aero with more tire clearance. At the end of the day, all that matters is which one of those sets of trade-offs gets her to the finish line first. And then we're not just looking at one race, of course. That's easier for the example, but we actually have a variety of races that are both iconic and important from S Racing that encompass very different realms of gravel racing. We simulated Gravel Worlds, basically just dirt crit, right? Super fast, super short, super dynamic in terms of power. And we simulate Unbound, which is the polar opposite. And we're simulating a couple of courses in between as well. And we're weighing the results of all of those into what is the fastest overall for most races for our riders.
Like in a perfect world, you'd make the most aerodynamic bike you can that's as light as you can possibly make it, but the reality is that there's always going to be a balance there. So we wanted to find out where we could get the most bang for your buck, which tubes would contribute the most to aerodynamics while still allowing us to retain lightweight chassis, and not focusing on making other areas of the frame more aerodynamic if the trade-off was going to be excessive weight. So it really all comes down to balance with this frame and finding where we can gain the most performance and retain the lightweight chassis that we could.
So we've been through quite a few moving leg mannequins. As we develop new platforms, we're also developing new mannequins to make sure that we're developing them in the way that riders are racing. And a lot of our bikes, we want to make sure nowadays are set up in a more race-specific position. This mannequin is actually one that we developed to be more realistic from sitting in, let's say, a World Tour peloton. But we have more mannequins that are focused on, let's say, a breakaway position or a position where someone like Sophia or Keegan is trying to get away from a group. And honestly, those are actually more important for our development right now, just because those are those kind of key moments in a race, and that's what we want to develop our platforms for, is for those race-winning moments. We have the fastest platform for our athletes.